everybody. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. Yes, that's right. It's time for Sarcastic Distractions, the interesting podcast for interesting people. Featuring, as always, the Gentleman Society of Podcasting, myself, Harvey.
Pardon me, would you have any Chris? But of course.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's a nice one.
Should have been. Chris. I need more. Chris.
It's a Grey Poupon commercial. Do you have any Grey Poupon? Do you have any Chris?
Yes, that's true. Yes.
Yes.
My heterosexual life mate today.
Hello.
I gotta have my Dave.
Everybody must have their Dave.
Yeah, that's fun. That's a good time. Speaking of gotta having the ever loving, ever funning AJ.
Oh, nice.
Oh boy, he's got Hancock.
It's a great song.
What?
Herbie Hancock.
It's not Herbie Hancock.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
Axel F.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But it's
That's-
Herbie
But
Hancock.
it's not Herbie Hancock.
It is.
Oh.
Hey, gentlemen, don't start fighting.
If there was ever a time
If
to
there
whip
was
out the
ever a
Google.
time.
You never said it
Imagine
wasn't
we were in a
allowed-
bar in the
you
90s.
You never said I wasn't allowed to
Imagine.
use my computer.
Yes, I did.
You said phones.
I did.
We said phones.
That's why we
No,
glue,
the rule is phones.
That's why we glue your ass to the microphone.
No, the rule is
or
phones,
to
not computers.
camera.
Yeah, no searching the interwebs.
And if you want to answer this debate, make sure to like and subscribe. And make
Like,
sure-
then subscribe.
Yeah.
Do
Do that
it.
already, please.
Yeah.
Yes. And do your best to support us, and by buying a wonderful American jerky and and save 10% by clicking on the Smoking Gun Beef Jerky link and support us. Aside from that, let's talk about something we've been kind of chit-chatting about off the podcast, so we're going to talk about on the podcast.
Well, let's be clear and honest. The
Sure.
two of you have been discussing this.
Yeah.
more.
You and I have talked about this numerous times before. in our
Similar-ish.
life.
Yeah,
Yes,
I have to admit, I've had moments of Dave-isms where I've,
Right.
yes.
Yes, but it's been. I think this will be a fun topic to talk about.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the theory of simulation.
Or simulation theory.
Yes.
Would it be the
simulation
theory of simulation theory?
It would be
Or
maybe.
Is that just
But we're going to talk
redundant?
about that, and about
I
talk
think it's more,
about.
simulation theory.
Mhm.
Because it's it's funny though. You're right. Because somebody said, what is simulation theory? Well, it's the theory that,
Well, if this can be summed up by one word, it would be whoa.
I know kung fu.
I know kung fu. The Matrix would probably be their best media example of what we're talking about.
well, it's also even the concept of jumping. I cannot remember, of course, movie names, and I did not prep for this at all, but the one where you could fall asleep to go to a different world and you could go levels and levels. And
Conception.
yes,
Yes.
similar
That's
concept.
not. I mean, I guess it's kind of going to a different world, but
Yeah.
that's about dreams.
But it's the same concept.
It's the same idea.
Because the
It's
people
just the-
in
the
it may
mess
not
around
know they're in a dream. That was
Yeah.
part of their trick
Right.
to get people to admit or do something. And
But that was only the people dreaming.
but that's just it. And you could join in
The
their
idea
dream.
is
Yeah.
you're in the simulation
Yeah.
theory where you can influence people's dreams.
Yeah.
And I understand what he's meaning. Like the
It's a similar
Concept
concept.
are the
Yeah,
same,
this
yeah.
concept is similar in that nature. Yeah.
well, let's start with this question. Do we think we're living in a simulation?
It's one of those fun jokes. Do I actually truly honestly believe? No.
Can you honestly believe?
No, I don't
I don't think
believe
you
it.
can.
No,
I don't think you have it in you, sir,
But-
to be able to believe such things.
Well, that's just it.
I think your brain will go. Bzz.
I saw a glitch in the Matrix yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it was just nature and whatever. But you know how like when you can see when it's windy and you look at the clouds, you can see the clouds moving.
Yep.
Right?
Mhm.
I was watching
We
the
call
clouds.
those chemtrails.
No, not those clouds, dummy. I was watching the clouds move, and then all of a sudden they just stopped.
Yeah.
But it was just weird because
Yeah.
I figured like something's blowing in the wind and the wind stops. It kind of it keeps going for a little bit.
I think so. Yeah.
Like there's a little bit of
how high were you?
inertia.
Were you-
I
Well,
mean, I'm
here's
sure
where
clouds
things-
even still haven't, but no, it was like a dead stop.
yeah.
Yeah. It's likely the wind at that level was
was
changing
trippy.
direction.
Yeah, I wonder if that's what happened.
was trippy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but were you high?
Like that's what I was about to say. Like, don't get me
What
wrong.
am I not?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, were you so high that cloud stopped?
No, I don't get that high anymore. I'm not 12.
Not 12, dear Lord.
Uh,
Yeah, no, I have to admit, like, I don't truly believe it, but I do have the moments where I sometimes think it. Like, and for me, it's often that joke where I am the only one actually here. You guys have heard me say this a bajillion times, where it's that, no, I'm the only one. I'm the only one here.
mhm.
Right? Because that's a whole
Yeah.
idea where I'm the only real, once I die, You're all gone.
Well, would that not support you being in a simulation theory
Well, that's what I mean.
of your own design?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Now, do I actually believe this? No.
Well,
It's just for fun.
could you believe it? I don't think
No.
you could.
Plus, for two reasons for me personally. One being it's just my brain doesn't think that way, and that concept that I don't even really exist here. I am somewhere else. That concept,
Sure.
I don't click with that. But then also it's even just that more, believe it or not, I do have feelings. That would mean
What?
That would mean
Where
my
are
children
they?
don't
Where?
exist.
What? You have
You don't
feelings?
exist.
It's true.
Right? Like it's
Yeah.
that concept that I can't dig.
You don't want that to be the reality of,
Well, of course
your
not.
loved ones not existing.
Exactly, of course.
Which is why you can't. Yeah, which I appreciate. I
Yeah.
think that's true.
I love you too much for you to be fake.
Aw.
Yeah.
What would denote that we like, the Matrix aside?
Sure.
What would denote that we are in a simulation?
That's a great question.
What could we look at and be like, oh, okay,
I'm now
that's
reminded
a
of
little
that
funky.
song "Every Day Is Exactly the Same" by Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah.
Right, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I think so here's where we're gonna get in the weeds of it. So I think it's true that humans are pattern recognition machines, right? That's kind of our thing. That's what we do. We
Yes.
just copy and recognize patterns. And
Right.
just keep doing those patterns. So because of that, that's where the split comes, because are we just doing what we do as those things, or are we doing it because it's some sort of design causing us to do it? So I would say that if you look at people and look at the patterns that they're in, ask yourself, is that recognized as some sort of simulation? Is this happening? Or is it, free will?
Yeah.
So I will say, I will actually semi-agree-ish. It is a free will that is built into us. I guess
I should have put free will in quotations. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah, because it's one of those
Yeah,
things where I do believe that there are some people that can break that. And again,
I
there's
think
always
there
that.
is, yeah.
There's the style of people that
They
can
are
break
the
that.
ones.
Well, they're both sides.
Yeah.
Like anything, people that escape our proper mantra way to do things, they're either completely scary and insane and you don't want to be anywhere near them,
Yeah.
or they're completely awesome and so high level you want to be like them.
Right.
But is scary insane just right?
Yeah, I don't know. Downtown, I've seen a few people that do not have any sort of There was a fine fellow running around downtown in his underwear today.
Or like,
nice.
or like my
the weather
kid.
was nice.
Does my kid
Perfect
see
time
the-
for it.
Does
Yeah.
my kid see through the Matrix?
I do think children do to a certain extent.
But he's also
Sure.
autistic.
Yeah.
So he can,
So his brain
so he can
works
do,
differently.
So he could do
anyway,
math
right?
in the Matrix.
He can do matrix math.
Yeah.
There you go.
He can read. He can read those fucking uppy downy green lines.
He reads the Matrix.
Yeah,
As,
he can read
as
the Matrix.
equations.
Yeah, that's exactly what he does.
I fucking love it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
most children, I think, they do
I
not
think so.
have any. Because
I
again,
think there's a fresher perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
because children, like you put them in almost any situation, as long as it's not scary. Because again, then they'll be more scared proper. Even not me, fuck it. But you put them in awkward situations a good chunk of the time. Once they get past that little bump of being somewhere new,
Mm.
they're fully into it.
Yeah.
I've always been amused by that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's true. They just
Or like new
themselves.
people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not good with new people, so I can't speak to this one. I am not a new person guy.
Not now, but when you
Mm.
were a child, like 2 years old.
Maybe, yeah. Okay, that's a fair argument. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure when I was younger.
Yeah, when I was stupid.
When I was a stupid baby.
Stupid baby.
Stupid babies.
Well, it's like anything. It's one of those jokes about, it's just over life, that whole thing where I have always found it, for me personally, better, safer, more comfortable to simply be the guy that's in the background. Yeah.
Well, that's survival, right?
Yeah. Well, but I mean, not this in a knock. You're the other type of guy. That's why I think we get along.
Alpha,
yeah.
beta.
Yeah,
Sure.
if you want to use those.
I like
classic
to.
terms.
I mean, I like to hope. I believe that whatever serves the group. So if it means that I can be like out front, sure. But I also know when to kind of like let other people do their thing.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying.
Hopefully.
No, yeah, I'm not saying that you're like there to take it all. No,
No.
God, no. I just mean
No.
that between the two of us, we're
Sure.
to go to a bar, a pub,
Yes.
sit down and start chatting. Who's more likely to talk
And
to
virtually the
strangers?
most
Him.
dynamic.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yes, I'm. Yeah.
Hell, all three of us could be there. It'd be him.
True.
You and I would just be sitting in the corner
It
talking.
is a
about him.
bit of an energy problem too, because like I don't even have to say stuff sometimes. Shit just kind of.
Dave and I are like Beavis and Butthead, and you're like
That's
somebody
true.
who's not even in the show.
That's true.
Which one do I want
That's
to be?
true. Oh, I think we know. I think we know
He's
what he
Beavis.
is.
I don't know.
Give it Beavis.
He's
That's funny.
Beavis.
Yeah.
I have to look
Well,
this
because
up.
I'm always the one who's going.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay, fair. All right, I'll take
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So
You're Beavis.
I'm Beavis, your
Yeah,
butthead.
and he does get naked more often.
That's
so
true.
That's true.
Just
There's
put
nothing
his-
wrong with being
just
naked.
Nothing
Very
wrong.
nice
That,
and
see,
free.
there you go.
Yeah.
on
he
the
will
bus, maybe, Dave.
What?
You can only get naked on the bus so much before they say.
I don't sit on the seat. I stand up in the aisle.
You're not. That's even worse. That's even worse. I'd rather come on a bus and see a naked guy sitting in a seat than standing up, because then I'd be like, I don't want to walk by that guy.
Well, you don't want my ass on the. That's just rude.
I don't want you rubbing your junk up against me when I'm trying to get by you in the aisle.
I'm just imagining him as he's in the middle watching his phone.
Phone,
And he's just like, hey.
Well, I'm not playing with it. I'm just trying to hold it.
flowing in the
Totally,
wind.
yeah.
I'm just holding it so it doesn't get in anybody's face.
Oh my god. See, that's where the
Oh.
whole nudist colony idea falls apart. right
That's
there.
also one of
Yeah,
those
right,
jokes
yeah.
I've always kind of liked. It's somewhat on topic. You take the concept of the Matrix, and these people. So there's always those group of people that know that
For
it's
sure.
a Matrix. I'm sorry. What would stop you from going into what you know is fake and going on the bus naked? You know it's fake. Why the fuck not?
Right. Well, because okay.
I think about this.
Oh, are we talking about the actual
so-
Matrix now, though?
Well, no, he's bringing up a good point. If you know that you're in a matrix, if you know that you're in some sort of simulation, and you
Yes.
know it's not real, what's stopping you from going on the bus naked?
Exactly.
What's stopping you from fucking everything?
Because you still
What's
get like arrested and shit.
But it's just
There are still
simulation.
systems in,
So you'd have to.
in
So
control.
you'd have to be a part of that group that like Morpheus and Trinity are.
Right.
So you could actually
Travel on
get
the
back
Nebuchadnezzar.
out of
Yeah.
the Matrix.
Yeah.
Right. You have to have an escape plan.
That's true. One thing I will say, if this was a whole simulation thing, I would ask for a save and load. Could you imagine that in
Yo.
life? Hey, I'd like to save here. Great. I'm going to try this
Oh.
really dumb thing, and then I'm going to go reload the
Dude,
smart thing.
I want like a
But then,
fucking
but then it would turn out like that.
million savings.
Then it would turn out like that episode of Rick and Morty where Rick made Morty a save and load thing,
Oh, yeah.
and he did it, but it actually it still affected things. Even though he saved and loaded, it still affected the people that were involved in the
Oh,
scenario.
well, that's a bad
because
save load.
Yeah,
they're
that's
not the
not
ones
good.
being saved and loaded. So you have to save and load everybody.
Well, but no, it's the simulation I'm in. You just got to save that simulation at that point.
Exactly.
It's
So
like
you
a
have to
video
save
game.
and load everybody.
Yeah, that's
It's
fine.
just
They're not really
it's
there,
his
though.
safe spot.
Yeah.
But even in some video games, the AI doesn't place the NPCs in the same spots sometimes.
That is true.
There
yeah.
are certain video games where you can't
Yeah.
necessarily memorize.
And I'm
the
playing my
level.
Stardew, and I'm expecting, the
Yeah.
professor to be at the actual, temple, and he isn't not there.
But he's fucking off with
Mm.
Gilligan somewhere
fucking
in a
pissing me off.
cave.
Yeah.
Do you know where the most it felt like a simulation
For
I've
who?
ever been?
China.
No, actually, China was. It has its weird moments of chaos. Doesn't, but I'm sure, probably more so. No, Costco.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, day in day out. It's like
but
Their
like-
patterns
That's
just
almost like a
run.
live like an actual live simulation.
No, I
working
agree.
in a place like Costco or something more corporate.
Yeah.
like something that has a corporate structure and a way things are done all
this.
the time.
This I think is the retail element dynamic that.
Yeah.
That's the
I think
retail
it's a big-
Yeah, there's
simulation.
that
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
No, it's actually a really good point because I go to the job. I am a different David
Right.
than David when he's not in the job.
Yeah.
I am far more loquacious. I talk with people constantly, always.
Mhm.
But it's a different simulation. I'm at
Right.
a job. These are the same people. We're just at the job.
Right.
But going back to the simulation theory is you could take what you do and do it somewhere else. Just like I cut my teeth working in retail,
Mhm.
right? So I could work any retail job and still effectively do that job,
Yes.
right? Because I'm accustomed
You have
to
some sort of retail.
Well, you have the
right?
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done the retail sim.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like when I play Mario Brothers.
Sim
I'm okay
retail.
with Mario Brothers. I have experience.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, it's never like you're not gonna play because you know you're gonna be okay playing.
Yeah.
yeah. As
Yeah.
long as it's not one of the like 3D crazy shit
Right,
or
but
anything.
that's kind of the idea behind simulations in. Fuck you, microphone.
It
My
just won't
microphone
stay
needs
hard.
Viagra.
Where's the audio tech? Hey,
You run
Fix this shit.
simulations like if you're a pilot or if you're an astronaut.
sure, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
And stuff like that.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
So
Well, you run anything for practice.
it's like a
right?
live simulation.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, that's actually a good point. I've never thought of it that way where, work Dave is in a simulation. That is a different David.
I think the show Severance points really well to that.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I have to watch that.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I watched the first season. I haven't watched after. I have to mention.
Yeah,
Just
it's the same.
first.
I got to get.
I'm
on
just
the
afraid
second
it'd
one.
be too dry. I think.
It's not at all. No,
No, it's a little dry, but it's
it's
good.
on purpose.
Yeah,
Dry, and it starts like that.
Yeah, it starts
goes
fairly
into-
low.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it goes pretty insane fairly quick. But yeah.
But
Now-
like they're trying to give you the sterile work environment, like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
just
I've
feel
never
that.
understood even why a business would want that, but anyway, I know it gets more in the next seasons, but
Why any business? Because I mean, we've all worked in kind of those environments where they really want them clean and sterile.
Cutting off your outside life to be effective in your job life.
yeah,
I
but
assume that's kind of what we're going for.
yeah, it's one of those things though. I have to
get
admit,
it.
I don't get it.
I get it.
Yeah, because I would want people in a job that have experience both in and out of the job.
I think
But-
you
well-
want loyalty.
Yeah.
But think about scenarios like Chris and I were in, right? I know it did for me. I can't speak.
Your
to
clothes
you.
accidentally
I guess
fell
I
off,
can't
it's
speak
okay.
For you
Yeah, it
right?
was just
But-
one time in college.
Yeah.
Well, but that one time at band camp,
Mhm.
things that we've gone through in life, hardships,
Mm.
have affected our jobs,
Yeah, absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So the whole
Maybe you, not
severance,
me.
the whole severance idea, to it's not going to affect your job. Like if you're going through a divorce in the
Yeah.
outside world,
Yeah.
you're not bringing that to work,
You still productivity's not affected.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay,
I
that's
can
a
see
fair
how companies
arc.
would be like, yeah, that'd be a great idea.
That's,
Yeah.
that's
You
a
know,
fair.
if you're a
arc.
drug addict outside of work, as soon as you walk into work, they flip the switch in your brain,
Right.
and
I
you're
have
no
a-
longer that.
I have a suspicion if you would still have some challenges if you were a drug addict. But anywho, I am not an expert.
Dave, don't shave.
Why not?
It's weird to watch you talk.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so
But you
everybody.
should see Severance because there's
have shaved my face.
an added layer that we can't really discuss. It unveils in the show.
It's a spoiler kind of thing.
Yeah. But you're touching on some fine notes. You're right. Like I mean, that's obviously why you'd want that as a company.
Looking at that part.
Why in the fuck would you want them
Why the
to
fuck do you want me
focus
to
on their
talk
home
into
life
There
when
you
they're
are.
at work, right? Because what do we see? What do we see? We all worked in those environments. People are fucking. They don't do their jobs. At the best of times, they don't
Yeah.
do their jobs.
Okay, even in the show, half the time they're not doing their job. Like,
Well,
come
there's that
on.
too. That was pretty spot on when it comes to.
I'm sorry, you can't
I
fix
know,
that in,
no.
in a person.
You're right. That's just,
I'm
that's
sorry.
fucking
Like
people.
yeah, even in that,
People work no.
Well, it's one of those.
Everybody
jokes.
says they want a job until they got a job.
Well,
they
see,
don't want to do the job.
That's
they
true.
got.
That's true. True story.
Yeah, I would say almost every job, the concept, and it's one of those things. Like it's that whole a third of the time you're actually doing the job. Classic. A third of the time you are socializing with the others around you, and then the other third
You're having smoke breaks.
Well, it's not so much smoke breaks, but you're kind of just doing other stuff. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
the random
Yeah.
shits, the
Like
fill-ins.
fucking meetings.
Yeah, meetings,
Coffee,
lunches,
going to the bathroom.
washing
Spending an hour in the
hands.
bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
It's
'cause
true.
it's-
Going to toilet,
Yeah.
getting some deep French fried taters.
Yeah.
I like them with mustard.
For the food truck.
That is an interesting
I like-
concept, though.
Mhm.
If we
What?
took this idea that it's a simulation, and right now we're in it, and we just don't know that we're in it. I haven't thought of it from that perspective.
Would we be allowed to talk about the simulation if we were in a simulation?
Well,
Yeah.
of course.
Of course.
How
Yeah,
could
what
they
would
stop
you?
you from talking about it? They're gonna zap you?
Yeah.
No, they're
It's not
programmed.
it's not like an oppressed.
Oh, so it's not an
thing.
oppressed simulation.
No,
It might be, it
it's
might
very
not
free.
be.
I have a hard time. It's hard because I don't want to ruin that Rick and Morty.
What's
episode.
more funny is actually it's
But it had
very
to-
Matrix. They have to make it real.
It
Right.
had to do
Yeah.
with he used the idea to teach Summer and Morty a lesson about
okay.
not doing something
I
in a
see.
Rick way.
Yeah.
Right? He had to do it in a Rick way.
Yeah.
So yeah, he stuck them in a matrix
Mm.
and programmed all the NPCs to like chastise them about what they did.
Nice.
Right. So like,
Nice.
wouldn't that happen? Wouldn't stuff like that happen? Or is it just like
Well,
an algorithm that is just left on its own?
Oh, I see.
well, that's the thing. What if
Right?
if
Is there somebody
religion?
programming it, or
What
is
if
there-
religion is a simulation?
Nah, I don't know.
Right, the only religion that's not a simulation is Scientology.
Yeah. The only
That's the truth. The only truth. Xenu is the
Xenu.
programmer of the simulation.
Yes.
That's why
You gotta
Yeah.
be careful.
L. Ron Hubbard's
To me,
right.
You don't want to get you want to get the studio sued, do you?
Oh fuck yeah, I do actually.
Yeah, that's-
You know why? Because then I would just like send it out to like
Is it Tom Cruise will
newspapers.
show up?
Tom Cruise will show up.
Actually,
Go
no,
on,
no,
go
hold
on, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning. Yeah.
He'll run in here, and then John Travolta will come and be like, "Whoa."
Whoa, dude.
gonna
We're allowed to get sued if John Travolta's going to come. And
yeah, of course, and that's okay. Yeah.
But no, it'd be like that band out in, what was it, Edmonton? Like, this was like 20 years ago or something like that. They named their band Metallica.
Right.
So Metallica would send them a cease and desist order, and then they went to the press.
Yeah, and CoverGirl would send them all their
And they got,
Metallica nail polish and the color Metallica.
Oh, that was different.
I know.
That was a
It's fucking
completely different thing, but still
I'm
same.
very lost. but
Yeah, so
okay.
no, there was a band that named themselves Metallica.
Okay.
So Metallica would send them a cease and desist order, and it would get into the news.
Yeah.
But they'd already had a name
Publicity.
picked.
Yeah.
They just did it for the publicity. But then, yes, CoverGirl came out with a nail polish or something like that called Metallica. Metallica sued them.
Yeah.
Was it literally metallic, at least nail polish?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, you can't really.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
I
they
don't know.
can and they did.
Yeah, I guess.
If
yeah.
you've copywritten something, yes, you
Yeah.
can.
Well, it's like your wrestling back in the day,
Yeah.
because it used to be called WWF.
Yeah.
And then they had to change it because the world
Wildlife and that.
Yeah,
But the funny
yeah.
thing is, they could have fought that, and they just chose not to because they're like, "Well, we can let this go."
Yeah, they went. Yeah.
I think it
Instead
was
of Federation.
I think it was Vince McMahon going, "Hey, this is like a step up. We could call it
Yeah, this is the chance
World
to-
Wrestling Entertainment."
Right, it's a chance to evolve instead
Yeah.
of just staying. in
Anyway,
the
that's
past, right.
beside the point.
Yeah,
Or is it?
Or
beside
is
the
it?
point?
Is it? Well, everything's wrestling.
Everything,
of simulation.
everything's wrestling. We know everything's a simulation.
You know my fucking theory that everything comes back to wrestling.
Yeah, no.
some way,
I
shape,
would
or
pass
form.
on that.
I'm
one
So
personally.
are we being used as batteries, or what do we think we're like? Why do we think we're in a like? Why, if we are,
Well,
would we be in a simulation?
If there's
For
a
the AI.
simulation, yeah, sure. I think is to control. Obviously, it's for some sort of system of control.
No, I don't think we exist physically. If we were in a simulation,
This is
So-
all digital.
it's all
Or-
digital, and the only reason we're cognitively here is the AI is learning from us and adapting based on the collection of billions of people's in the brains that are simulating right now.
but at some point, wouldn't that not work?
Exactly. For us, this has felt like for ourselves personally, but even for the history, thousands of years, blah, 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 blah. To the simulation AI, it's been not even a second.
Mhm.
It's just
It's true.
perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like us. Our lives are nothing in the grand scheme.
So
of
when
the
we
world.
stop,
exactly.
when we stop outputting what we need to be outputting, that's when we die.
dick and fart jokes. Yep.
No,
That's death.
we're part of the simulation. We're
But
just
the-
simply a
but-
piece.
Oh,
We're
we go
nothing
back-
special.
But eventually,
We
people
go back
start
to where we
thinking
came.
differently and acting differently and doing different things.
Right, but the overall
That's drugs, my
collective
friend,
of
that's
that.
drugs.
So
Yeah.
are we in like beta testing?
It could be that's just it. We're part of the beta test on how to make humanity
Until
survive.
real humanity. Oh yeah.
Yeah, for real humanity.
And the pre-beta would have been, or the alpha would have been, the before the flood, before Noah and the flood. Religion. Okay. moving on.
Okay.
I don't
Anyway.
know- yeah, we don't know what you're talking about.
There
Why
was
didn't
an
you have
actual
any-
war.
why didn't
there
you
was
have
a
any
flood
dinosaurs
that
on
covered
there?
the world in the.
Because they were already dead.
Yeah, I think they were
According to
already dead.
Catholics, they don't exist.
That's true.
They never
Yeah,
existed.
that's right. Well, not all Catholics.
Yeah, no. That's one thing I always give credit. A lot of people nowadays, when it comes to religion, not all people, we know this, unfortunately, in this world, they just accept religion as a way to, they have a faith in this random thing. That's fine. Kick ass, chew bubblegum.
Everybody has faith in something. Just most people decided.
I have faith in me.
You also have faith in gravity.
That's true.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
Mhm.
While I'm on
So we
the
all
yeah.
fail.
In this
And
simulation,
everybody chooses a god. Just some do it knowingly. some
I've
don't.
never thought of that. That's a good point. I should actually, gravity is my god.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because nobody can ever dispute me
true.
worshiping gravity.
But that's the thing. Like everyone believes in something. They just whether you.
but then you
acknowledge
believe
it or
in
not.
things like the moon.
I
Yeah.
do.
You
Right.
believe in other people's opinion and logic and decision making.
I believe they do this.
Or lack thereof.
Yes.
Or lack thereof. Well, we
But
also
you believe
right.
in the lack thereof.
Because that's the thing. That's the beautiful thing about humans, and this is where like this really opens up simulation theory ideas. Is all the information you have, everything you know, is just shit other people told you.
Right.
That's it. Yes, there are some things you experience on your own.
Yeah.
Yes. But for the most part, the majority of
No, I think
input comes from other people.
I think you're right. Yes, we have to experience things on our own, and there are things we, obviously experienced and learned and
Right.
whatnot.
Your own loops.
But chances are, in your life, somebody either told you to or not to do something,
Agreed.
and you did the opposite because
Or-
you needed to. But somebody still told you.
Right.
That's what. The
And
point
then
I'm trying to get at.
there's it. Were you supposed to do the opposite, or were you supposed to do there?
Exactly,
There's your on and off switch,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
exactly.
from a knowledge perspective, to a certain extent, I do agree that yes, we get a lot of it from books, other people, blah blah blah. But when it comes to true experience, and feel like I feel no, the majority of that is you on your own, and you kind of called it out.
The experience part, you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. Right? You're absolutely. The experience part is, but
The important thing is I'm absolutely right. But move on.
I said the experience part is absolutely
No,
right.
you said what you said is
He said the
you're
experience
not.
part is actually.
I'll
No,
give you.
I can run back.
I'll give you 78% right.
I'll
That's
run.
what
I'll run
give
back
you.
the tape.
Yeah, you run
I'll run the
tape.
tape.
On the tape.
But
The digital tape that's being stored in the cloud of the Matrix.
That's right. Oh, we're going with that.
I don't remember.
Oh,
Fuck, sorry.
fuck. Damn simulation bastard.
Yeah. They got the stupid thing. My brain
So like,
forget things.
is Armageddon the simulation being shut off?
I mean, one could say
Yeah.
if religion was an analogy.
Well, it's not even
Well,
about
okay,
religion.
I guess I should put Armageddon in quotes.
Yeah.
Because I'm just using that for lack of a
Sure,
better.
sure.
Rather than
you're
saying
talking
the
about whatever
end
the
of
end is, the end,
Yeah.
whatever that is.
Arm-
The one
Armageddon
star,
just sounds
the
cooler.
sun dying out or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if
Armageddon
we're a
just sounds cooler.
simulation, and again, the concept that I made where we actually are already ruled by an AI and we're simply a split-second simulation which we've perceived, thousands of years, blah, 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 likely the AI has a bajillion of these running, and each one has different things happening depending on what has occurred within those simulations.
I always thought that we were some alien science project,
Yeah, I always remember a joke.
like that episode of The Simpsons
Or Men in Black,
or Men in Black.
the
yeah.
marbles.
Oh, the marbles. That was a good one.
With
Actually,
the-
I'd
with
like
the-
that.
with
That was
the
good.
with the locker people.
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
But like that episode of The Simpsons where Lisa puts her tooth in like Coca-Cola
yeah,
or something
yeah.
like that, and it starts a whole civilization.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun.
But like
Yeah.
we were like some science project. that
Yeah.
some alien kid, just forgot about,
Yeah.
and now we live in his closet.
I can't remember where this came from, but I remember a horrible joke about that we are because we have or grew or whatever you want to call it, out of basically gorillas, that sort of concept, right? And
Primates.
it's because an alien came along, fucked a primate, left.
Yeah, I heard that.
That different,
was
that
good.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Maybe. Yeah.
It's one of those part of me is like, that's so gnarly, disgusting. And the other party's like,
But all of it's gnarly disgusting, right?
human
Whether
would
it's
do
fucking
this.
aliens came down, dropped us, whether or not we evolved from fucking some amoeba into what we are,
aliens
whether
came down and
whether fucking God made Adam and Eve and they fucked each other, whatever it is, however we got here,
see, for me,
it's
that's
all fucked.
that's the
all
most
of it.
disturbing.
well, yeah,
theory.
that's how we got, sexually active and stuff.
true.
Because we fucked to make more people.
We do fuck to make
But
more
then
peoples.
Adam and Eve.
That's how you
Adam
that's
and
how you
Eve
build
had
a
sex.
successful simulation theory. Give just enough sex, not too much, but enough sex.
True. Yeah.
But then, how did they populate the rest of everything?
What do you mean?
Well, Adam and Eve had sex and then had a child, and then they had to have. But then eventually they wouldn't be able to procreate any more children, and then the children would have to. Have
Can't enable.
So everybody's incested.
Yeah. That's why we're all brothers and sisters,
We're
brother.
all incested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's if you follow the religion.
If
It's,
you follow it. But I mean, technically, we're all related in some way, shape, or form anyway. Because if we all came from the same region of the world, we all would have.
Well, you mean white people?
Everybody. If we did.
You know why I said that, right?
Yeah, I know.
Because I mean,
I know he said that.
how would we be related to African American?
Apparently,
Yeah,
there's a theory
over
out
time.
there that we
Yeah.
came from that region of the world, and the only
Yep.
reason why we don't have the same pigmentation of skin is because of the regions we ended up migrating to.
less sun
Yeah.
over
It's
time.
like
Yeah.
Finland,
Yeah,
Yep.
Switzerland,
yeah.
Greenland,
Snowier places. Yeah,
snow whiter
places.
places.
Yeah, whiter places. Yeah,
It's true.
that's legit a pretty common theory.
Plus, it is, and again, it's one of those jokes of if we're going to come into sort of that real world concept,
Sure.
it is also just the whole DNA, genetics, little things get tweaked and
Yeah,
twacked, and, that does cause differences.
you're
And
right.
of course, the overall way that humans have evolved is because, hey, there's been a variety, and the people that were stronger, smarter, better,
Yeah,
they survived.
Yeah.
Whereas the ones that were not, they died.
survival of the fittest, baby.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's how
Yeah.
it all rolls.
But we did all come from the same place, whatever that is.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever that looks like.
There was,
Yeah.
the little
So-
thing,
Yeah.
bacteria.
So
thingies.
incest is
primordial
kind of a
ooze.
part of
Yeah.
our DNA,
That's true.
which
Oh, yeah.
is fucked up, but it is what
We're
it is.
all the same.
That's right. We're all
That's
the
right,
same.
Uncle Cousin Chris.
That's right.
Uncle
exactly.
If I weren't your
That's
grandpa,
my
I'd still be your
hillbilly.
daddy.
Hillbilly. Don't get me down on my part there. Yeah,
But back to
so-
simulation theory.
That's simply.
Actually, well, it is all simulation theory in that sense.
Like,
Well,
do you
yeah.
think somebody's like playing us like a video game? Like, is
No.
it that kind of simulation? Again, it's just one that's just left.
Maybe when we sleep,
to
that's what our
run.
dreams are.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Mm.
The only thing I could say from a game perspective is if, again, and I'll pick on like the sim games, where at a higher level they're able to control and do things.
Yeah.
Right. But as far as individually, no.
It doesn't feel like people are doing it in
Our dreams, what we
But there are a lot of NPCs.
Well, that's all the other people out there that are
Right.
just annoying as fuck.
I know.
our dreams maybe reality, and they're controlling us to suppress the fact that we can actually do more than we can do. Like in
Sure.
your dreams you can fly.
No. The dreams is the real life.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't fly in real life.
No, Dave. You get what I'm saying.
Sure.
He's just saying sure to just.
No, it's good.
No, I understand his different shures. He's got a sarcastic sure
I
and
got
an
a
actual.
spectrum. I got a
Sure.
I get what you're
Oh,
laying
it's
down.
sure versus sure.
It's sure versus sure. But yeah, so like our dreams are actually real life, and this is the simulation, and they're suppressing the fact that
I feel
we
like
have
there was a
abilities that
movie that
Hmm.
talked about that.
we have abilities in real life that they don't want us to have.
Right.
They,
Yeah.
them, the
Them.
others.
Yeah.
I don't know. I very rarely remember a dream. I have to admit, I'm one of those annoying people.
I've been remembering a lot lately.
Yeah, no, I
Fuck.
never. The only time
Like
I've
almost
really.
every night for the past like fucking 2 weeks. I've
Oh
been
wow!
remembering my
Yeah,
dreams,
no.
yeah.
The only time I really
Super
remember
vivid.
dreams is if I have the fever sickness dreams,
Oh yeah.
Mm.
and then I wake up all freaky out and that fun. But
Oh,
yeah,
freaky deaky.
they are horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's possible. It's possible that our dreams are realities. Are real realities.
Yeah, I don't perceive that one
I don't
personally.
know.
Yeah,
It's hard because because when I analyze my dreams, I know exactly why I dreamt them.
because of real life stuff.
Because of real life stuff. So
Yeah.
It's rare that I'm like, where the fuck did that come from?
So you could take a dream where you're a dolphin and
It's the thing. I don't
translate
think I've ever,
translate it into like, oh, this is why that happened.
crazy enough, I don't think I've ever dreamt
I was
of
a
myself
cat.
as
I was
another
a cat
animal.
in this dream.
I've never been another animal.
I don't
Yeah, good point. I don't think I ever
have.
have
I
either.
never have. I've never
No.
done that.
But you get my
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I can figure that out.
You know what's funny?
Like,
I think
I was a
tonight.
lamp.
Like it probably would have
Tonight-
come from
lamp.
like I had a
I'm
dream.
So bright. Oh,
I
that
had a
must be it.
dream about girls in a particular environment, and I know exactly why I had it because there was my real life was influenced by said girls and this type of environment I was a part of. So it made sense that I would have this dream involving these elements, right? Because my brain is trying to, I guess,
Okay,
make sense
that
of it.
makes sense.
Right. That's what. But the majority.
But what
of-
about the more outlandish dreams?
Yeah, when I'm like jumping everywhere, and I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
bounce everywhere.
What if you can
I
actually
think I'm
do
just
that?
testing out.
Video
What if you
games.
can
Yeah,
actually
exactly, yeah.
do that?
I mean, I could do them in my dream.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
In my dreams. Yeah, I don't have
Because
those
because
types
Well,
in theory, this is
here's the
the
thing, here's the
simulation
thing.
that we're in right
I
now.
follow my skateboard and know I can't do that in this part. That's how I know that I can't do that. That's a good
because they don't
reminder.
want you to. They don't want you
Yeah,
to know that you can.
And I'm cool.
They
with
don't want
not-
you to know that you can just like ET that shit and
That's-
fly on your skateboard.
I-
Really, us sleeping is just to give the neurocomputer the chance to relax for a moment. That's all.
It's a chance for it to rest.
Yes.
I'd assume we all
That's what
sleep
sleep
at the
is.
same time,
so each time zone would be a
Yeah,
different computer
though.
then.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, no, we're all a
Word.
different portion of the AI that is being optimized in order to provide the basic
So,
power.
but you're saying this part of it shuts down,
yes,
while other parts of
the
it
majority, not all,
other parts of it stay active,
get
and then,
more active.
and then it's
Yeah.
So you're saying our entire existence has been a simulation
Yes.
for the development of AI.
Yes.
That's all it's ever been.
Correct. For us, what seems like
So it's
thousands of
Hitchhiker-
years.
It's to him, it's Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yes.
Yes.
That we were being told through the wonderful novels as what the real world is,
That's amazing.
and yes, it's not real.
Yeah.
Right. So we've waited 7 million years
Yeah.
For
to get the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact,
Which
to
we
be
knew was
honest,
42 the whole time.
I would
for
like
fuck's
to
sakes.
make a small request to the AI in charge to please, the last second when a person is about to go, let them know what their life has been not just useless, but completely not real.
That's probably what happens.
Not just useless, but meaningless.
That's probably
too.
what happens. You just don't know that's
You
what
just don't
happens
know
because you
that's
didn't die.
That's right.
You just got turned off.
Yeah, that would be nice.
God, that's so
is when you
horribly
do
horrible.
snuff out whatever happens afterwards. It would be nice to be like, okay, just so you know, here's what life was really all about.
Yeah.
And then you're gone.
Well, and
Maybe
it's
that's who St. Peter is.
yeah, it's from a song, that whole "You Die Twice."
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
of course, when I heard that lyric the first time, God, it hurt. Fuck that concept, which is totally true. It is one, like once you die, you're dead, and then when the last person that knows you doesn't know you anymore, you're gone.
That's why fame is so important, friends.
Yeah.
What about
Nice to
those
be
crazy?
famous.
Whether it be murder or
Or how do we get there?
What about those crazy glitch in the Matrix videos?
What about them?
Like when you see like
The birds?
like the
Oh, the
birds, or
birds?
like a
Oh.
cat, or
Oh, we all know the birds aren't real anyway. They're
Weird
just
well, I
spy
have to admit, I
planes.
have experienced
planes,
this.
spy planes.
Yeah, I've experienced that actually with a bird where
Yeah.
for almost a week we had a bird that was friendly. We just come, and again, we thought it was somebody's pet or something, but nope, it was just
Does Morpheus taking another form?
maybe it was
Like,
creepy.
Dave.
This
Dave.
bird was just really wanting to be friends and shit. It was hilarious. Yeah. So I have seen that with a bird.
So the one thing I saw, and I always think of this one part in the Animatrix. I think it was the one
It's been a long time since I watched
hand drawn animated one. Anyways, when I was living with Philly, I don't think you were staying there at the time, but I was walking somewhere, and there was this fucking situation with these birds, all different kinds of birds. Fucking, there wasn't like one just brand of bird. Like there was tons of different species.
one brand of bird. ladies and
yeah,
gentlemen.
no brands. There was a lot.
Species is not a thing
That's
anymore.
right, no.
They're
The
brands of
brands.
birds.
That's right. Species brands.
Wouldn't bird be a
Well,
brand?
that's the thing. Here's if there's simulation there, they would be some brands of
Oh,
birds.
okay, well,
right?
but wouldn't
Anyways.
bird be the brand? No, I guess not.
No, that would be
Toilet paper
subject. Yeah,
is a thing. There are
Right.
brands. Of
Yeah.
okay.
exactly.
I love the way the logic worked in your
I know.
brain there. Well done.
I know he goes to corporate
Toilet
products. I know,
paper.
but where these birds were all traveling together and they were doing like this fucking crazy,
Oh, that is always cool to
crazy
watch.
dance thing happening.
Yeah.
And they did it for like 20 minutes.
Yep.
And it was like they were all different kinds of birds, seagulls to fucking everything. It was like, this is.
I've never
wild
seen the
behavior.
different,
You've
but I
never heard
have
of
seen the groups of
dance?
birds. I've seen the bird dance, not random birds, but birds. Yep, it's
It
quite
was
nice.
nuts.
Yeah.
I was not thinking it was nice. I was pretty. You know what? That's when fucking Hitchcock's birds hit me. It's like, oh, fuck this shit.
Fair argument. That's a fair
You
argument.
have
is
heard
not
though,
cool.
right?
What?
You have heard though.
That they are spy planes.
No, but you have heard.
What?
You haven't?
Yeah, I'm not gonna fall. for
Have
that.
you not?
I'm not falling for that. I'm not.
Everybody
I'm not falling
knows,
for that.
Dave.
Everybody,
Everybody knows.
everybody knows what.
Bird. Just a bird is the word.
That's,
Bird.
Oh, nice.
Bird is the word.
Interesting.
Bird
Have you
is
watched
the
a lot
word.
of Family Guy?
Hey,
Have you watched a lot of Family Guy lately?
lately?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just watched the new season.
Oh, okay.
Is there a new season of Family Guy?
Oh yeah.
I thought it was over.
No, they're only season 23 or something.
Oh dear lord.
Only.
Yeah,
That's one.
outside of my wheelhouse. Oh, well, moving on.
Speak of simulation theories. Television.
Well, yeah, that's
How?
the whole thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
How's television is part of what?
it's a simulation. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot
Well,
of.
it's it's simulated.
Yeah. Now, the people in it, they're actors and such, they are aware of this, of course. But yeah, no, it's a simulation. Well, it's like the whole Jim Carrey movie.
But even
Oh, Truman Show.
Yeah.
that's different.
How's that different?
different?
For him, he thought it was real.
But if that's the case, okay. But say your theory is plausible. If that's the case, every time that I go and watch a show, those people get together and do that again,
Sorry, which?
NBC's.
right?
Costco.
Right? Because that was the whole thing with like the Truman Shows. Like every time people watched an episode, he was actually doing the thing.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So like every time I watch an episode of Friends, if I watch the same episode back to back, they just have to do that twice.
Well, no, because in that show, I'm going from memory, which could be wrong. Basically, it was a 24/7 show. You went to that channel and watched. Now, he would have his sleep time, but of course, so there wasn't anything to really watch. But the rest of the time he was awake, they were playing the show live.
Mhm.
That was the Truman Show.
But what happens when people watch reruns?
There is no rerun. It's the Truman.
Have
They
you
might have
guys-
highlights.
Have you
maybe.
guys ever? Oh, this is actually a really good one. Have you guys ever seen The Adjustment Bureau?
No,
I don't believe
Matt-
so.
I've
Matt
heard,
Damon.
I've heard of it.
And fucking Anthony Mackie. Great film. It really is. Oh man, I wish you guys watched this. It would be a fucking good one to talk about, because the idea is there's like these men behind the scenes that are literally adjusting life.
Oh, like
for
Dark
us.
City.
Yeah, but not so
City's a good one.
Dark City's amazing.
It is.
But not so
Underrated.
not so like, it's more like real grounded, I guess is what I'm saying. It's a very wonderful idea of simulation theory in the act of it being done.
yeah, people behind the scenes
Right.
controlling to a certain.
Yeah.
Stephen King did a novel like that too. Can't remember the name of it, sadly.
Not regulators.
I can't remember what it was, but yeah, Stephen King had a similar-ish idea.
It was the
Yeah.
phone cruise design.
Yeah, that was it.
Was
Yeah,
it?
that's
Yep,
yeah,
that was it.
exactly, yeah.
I got to remember to do that. That was well played.
As well. But yeah, I thought it was well executed in trying to show you, I guess that's what we're kind of talking about, us trying to resist against those ideas of simulation and trying to break out of those boundaries. But you realize, like, whether it's a simulation or not, people like to just be in their systems. They're just happy living their lives.
Are they
Early
though?
on. Well, they pretend to be.
Have you not seen the movie The Island?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I was just talking about the other day.
Right, with Ian McGregor and Scarlett Johansson.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that'd be kind of like
That was a rough one.
that'd be like, again, one of those live simulations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
That was
because
a good
they're
one.
living a certain kind of life. And
Yeah.
expecting
Sure,
that's
but
what
they're
life
clones. They
is.
deserve to die.
That's not the point, though. The point is they're living life, and that's what they think it is.
Yeah,
But there's something different on the outside,
right.
right? So they're living a simulated.
Transformers 1.
Oh, there you go.
Same-
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What was
They're-
that one with Ethan Hawke? Gattaca.
Oh, Gattaca.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was
I enjoyed
that was
that
another
one.
one that was kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's well, I mean,
Well, one could make the argument that in our Western society
That's exactly
specifically, we are part of a simulation because, again, we go to school constantly. We get a job for the next
all of these
60
systems, yeah.
years. We have children. You
and
know,
it's
we
all
kick
the
over-
benefit of system that's not us.
Yeah.
So, but then we need to define simulation, something that's not what it is, right?
It's a sim
Just like-
of eulation.
Just that makes so much sense. Just like when you
Wisdom on
you get
this
a
guy.
bag of fucking ketchup chips and it says simulated ketchup flavor,
Yeah.
right? It's not actual ketchup in there.
Right. They did a
Correct.
good job simulating
it's
it.
simulated
Right.
Yeah.
ketchup,
Yeah,
but
they didn't
it's
even dry it out.
They
Yeah,
didn't
they
even-
dry it
they
out.
didn't
They just-
try.
they just
Yeah.
fucking nope.
made it all vinegary and
I
shit.
have to admit, when you get those chips and you're high, I just sit in there and I lick them.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys ever want to, it drives my wife up the wall because, if I'm actually like
It's
not
driving
How
me
my
up the wall
wife
here. You talk about it.
eats
Like,
chips
what
in
are
general.
you doing?
I do with all those.
Did you even eat them, or you just like throw
Oh
them
no,
back?
I do. But I basically
He's
suck
got
on
two
them long.
bowls. He's got one bowl with the chips and one bowl with the discard.
And every so often he fucks up. It's like shit.
Oh, well, that was soggy. What the fuck?
No,
Those chips
I
are
let the
stale.
sogginess melt
Oh
into
my
my
God.
throat.
This guy. I heard about your kind the other day, but somebody
Your
talked.
kind?
Yeah, I heard about this where they like fucking have to eat everything layer by layer by layer.
Oh no.
I'm like, that's wild.
I'm one of the
Well, that's
annoying
weird.
people.
Yeah.
I basically, if you give me a dish of food,
Yeah.
I mix it all together and I
Oh, he's psycho.
yeah.
Look at his face. He can't-
I don't know if it's psycho, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Except
there's
whenever
something wrong.
if I'm at
Autistic, maybe?
somebody's house for Thanksgiving, the first one I lightly pepper the plate full of the different foods and I keep them separate. That way nobody gets offended. Once I get to second plate though, no, pile it all in.
No, once you can put all the food, but then you can put it on the fork at the same time. But the
Oh,
other
yeah.
thing's just craziness.
Oh no, I'm one of those annoying. It drives my nephew up the
You
wall.
might as well just eat a fucking KFC bowl or whatever the fuck they're
Yeah.
called. Loaded bowls or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I make them at home a lot. Yeah, like
Yeah,
you
Those
just
are good though.
not that.
Yeah, when I
style,
make
for
my
sure.
own food, yeah.
So my point was to simulate something, you have to have something to simulate it from,
Right.
Correct.
right? So if we are in a simulation, this
Yeah.
exists somewhere,
Right.
The concept. Yep. To start us
right?
out.
This
Right.
exists on the outside.
The rules or
This-
whatever.
This
yeah.
this room exists on the outside because it's been
No, it doesn't.
simulated.
Yeah, no, because again, a truly good simulation, like the AIs and things of this nature, they're able to take the concept of something that used to exist,
Or,
but then produce and create something
or
new.
not
based on
even
that
exist. We have starship simulators. None of us have ever fucking been
Good
in a
play.
starship. So we have plenty of
They're not
concepts.
Starship Simulator.
Yes,
What are
we
you-
do.
What are you smoking?
What do you think Star Trek is? Any
TV
Star Trek
show?
game.
A movie.
Yes, all those things. But they
A
have
video
they
game.
have these things, right? They have. All I'm just trying to say is they have conceptual things that don't actually
Right,
exist, and
it's
we simulate them.
simulating the thing that you're seeing on the TV show.
that we created.
Sure,
That's what
recreated.
it's simulating.
But we also have new concepts that are outside of that. I was just using that as a.
But I don't
leading
feel like you
example.
can simulate. Okay, if they're going to simulate a concept, then they have to simulate the concept based in reality. So, like we were talking about the other day about space,
Right.
you
The final
can't
frontier.
you can't go light speed and then come back and tell somebody about it,
As far as we know,
right?
as far as we know.
would that should
Why
be
can't
the
you come
simula-
back?
Oh wow, okay, that's a whole other can of worms. So if we had the ability to go light speed,
Yes.
right? It's all based on the idea that time is relative to the person perceiving it.
Okay.
So if you were in a thing
Oh, this
that went
concept.
light speed and you got somewhere in like 4 minutes to like the other
Mhm.
side of the galaxy, for you that was 4 minutes.
Gotcha.
For everybody on Earth, it was 4 million years.
Right.
So you
The
can't.
perspective of it.
The rules of traveling at light speed aren't you can go somewhere, discover something, and then come back and tell somebody about it.
But you can
because
tell
all of those-
somebody.
All of those somebodies, yeah. Well, you can tell somebody. You can't tell your friends though.
That's your perception
Right.
of light speed. My perception of light speed is I can go to warp 9, not warp 10, because that's dangerous. But warp 9.
But no,
that's
it's
fine.
not because you don't have an actual perception of what that is. So you can't simulate that.
I'm not simulating. I'm going at warp 9.
You can't simulate it. Is the point. You can't
you
simulate
can.
something that isn't.
But you can't. We do that all the time.
Yeah.
Of what?
Video games.
That's our invention of
But
simulation.
that's
Simulate
not
that
based
shit
off of
all
something that is.
the time.
That's a good point.
Oh, you guys with your GTA, you're actually
I
killing
know.
people.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Think about
You're
that.
a murderer.
What if those
Well,
are
that was
people in a
Reboot.
simulation?
That was Reboot, right? Reboot was like playing these games. Where
I
fucking
forgot
you're
about
murdering-
Reboot. That's
yeah.
right. That was a good one. Fuck, I enjoyed that.
But what if we're only seeing it like looking like a computer game, but on the other side of it, it's like this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What if
Didn't they make
But
a
then-
movie like that already?
But the,
Ready Player One?
Yeah.
Or not Ready
or
Player
Free
One?
Guy.
No. Free Guy. That's
Yeah,
what
that's it, Free Guy. Free
Ryan
Guy.
Reynolds.
That's
was
it.
actually a good
Yeah.
movie.
It was a good movie.
Um,
I enjoyed it.
But then wouldn't we like randomly just like completely randomly get up and just
Disappear?
do arbitrary shit?
Well, no,
Maybe
we're
we
the
do.
AI.
Maybe
And
that's
I-
what it is.
But like
These
you're saying,
conversations that
when
lead
we're
into
when we're
that.
playing like GTA, like all of a sudden it's just like I'm gonna go steal a car.
Well, I
Maybe
would,
we're
Right?
more advanced.
It'd be like fucking Weekend at Bernie's too.
Yeah. Maybe
Oh,
we're
God.
more advanced. Maybe the player has to get our characters to be convinced into going to steal a car.
I'd like to point out, I do know a few people where they might be part of the video game because they randomly get up and do.
Yo,
Yeah,
I've
fuck.
seen that enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
There's lots of those. out
Yeah.
I
there.
feel like there'd be more people just like randomly walking into walls and shit and like continuously just bumping into it for like 3 minutes
Yeah. Well, the
Nah.
other person went to the
until
washroom.
until the algorithm resets and then
now they got pretty good collision detection.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
That might
it's
be
pretty
it.
good.
it's better
Yeah.
it's better than Cyberpunk.
Oh, way better.
Okay.
Way better. They didn't.
Cyberpunk.
They didn't
Good
fucking
call.
release us in a beta. Crazy.
But did
That-
they?
No, maybe.
That might have been the
That's
start to all this.
Yeah, I was gonna say it explains the glitches.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's see,
There you
yeah.
go.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I
But-
think, yeah, we're simulated.
I truly don't think so. I love the
I'm
concept, the
simulated
idea.
bacon flavor.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's quite possible because of the fact that, like I said, we do run on patterns and we exist to understand patterns. So I think it's very easy to have us be in a simulation if that was the case. I don't like the idea from an ego's perspective. I would like to believe that I'm making all my own choices and none of this is simulation, all this is real. And every time I eat a blade of, I smell grass, whatever. I want to believe it's all real. I want to
know
believe
what?
it's not all whatever.
the
But
fact that you're sniffing grass is almost as bad as eating it.
Mm.
That wasn't a
it's
save.
hungry. It's hungry.
That was not a
Well, it's
save.
not as we're hungry. Freshly cut
You're not a
grass,
cow.
especially in springtime.
It smells so nice.
There's a difference between smelling grass and sniffing grass.
Oh no, I go down my hands and knees. And
Yeah, that's again
Really, he's not getting high on life, this guy.
psychotic behavior.
But I'm just saying, like, I like.
I don't know. Have you tried that new drug,
the-
Life?
Yeah,
pretty
the
good.
ego in me wants to believe that it's all fresh and it's all real and I love it. But I also could see how, yeah, I mean, I've been tricked by a lot of games.
So does that
I've been tricked by
does
a
that
lot of
ego not
things.
conflict with your religious view then
Nope.
of somebody having some form of manipulative power over you and your
No.
life?
No.
No.
Religion's not about having a manipulative power over you. That's not the point.
So you're not one of those believer peoples,
No.
because there are those
That's
people.
probably- sure, you've
There
figured that
are
out by
those
now.
people who sit there and pray and actually believe, like, "Oh Jesus, please, place your hand
I
on
don't.
our family."
The reason,
and blah blah blah.
well, the
blah,
reason why I
right?
believe is because I don't believe anybody has any sort of whatever. But I'm also, like we talked about, I know my senses lie to me. I know.
Yeah.
It's
Just a
crazy.
quick note. Your example there, though, a lot of people do that, not so much in the sense of the believing, but oftentimes because we've hit that point in our life where something is just everything's going wrong, and you need to express your own thoughts. And
Yep.
while you're using God or your deity, of
Whatever
your
the
choice,
vessel. Yeah.
it's just really you're sharing, you're talking to yourself. Because I've done this. I'm not religious, but I've done that where things are just going completely wrong. Child
Sure.
hurt, wife, that sort of thing. And you can't do anything. So what do? You sit there and in your brain, you express just anything.
Right, but you don't sit there
somebody.
and say, "Please come down and manipulate this situation to make it better." Some people do believe to that point where it's like, "Please God, place your hand on
I've
this
said
and
it.
manipulate the situation to get us out on the other side."
Yeah, I've said things like that, and I'm not even
Right.
religious.
So back to my question of, would your ego not conflict with that thought pattern? But if you're not somebody who believes that
No,
way,
I kind of like I've always
if you
started
believe in a
like,
different
so,
way,
and
that's
not that really my
question's moot.
beliefs really matter, but I like I said, if there is some sort of deity out there, the work is done. It's done.
So you're not somebody who thinks that the deity intervenes.
As far or if they do, it was already planned. It was
And
already
you only
gonna
get 3
happen.
wishes.
Yeah, you only get 3 wishes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I honestly, I'm not smart enough to think such things. You know what I mean? I'm not going to claim to be. But what I'm going to say is, for me, I think a lot of gratitude. I'm grateful for the life I have and things that I do have. So I feel like appreciating, whether it is talking to myself or whether it is talking to God or whatever it is. I think giving that
Talk
thanks
to yourself and the
is
people
impressive.
around
So
you.
I also fucking write about it. I write about being gracious about the shit that
So
I got in my life.
If
Because
there
I think
is
it's
a
important to
God
do
who
that.
intervenes, then we are.
But
in a
I also
simulation.
don't think I'm a person of
That's
will.
a good play, actually.
What's
I'll
that?
give you a head
What?
nod on
If
that
there
one.
is a God who intervenes, then we are in a simulation.
Yeah, absolutely. But I was going to
Take
say,
technology and all that out of it, right?
if religion, if you really believe in religion, if you don't believe in religion, then no, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I just think it's
if you no, if
well, what
if
you're
there's,
basically
if there's
saying
something,
is,
if there's something that's correct, if there's something that's happened, even if you
but
don't believe
you're
in it, doesn't
absolutely
mean
right.
it's not happening.
If there is a God who's intervening, then yes, we're in a simulation. You're right, but
And I
then
don't have
that's
to
also
believe-
the same. That's also the same logic that it's like, well, just because you don't believe in God doesn't mean He doesn't believe in you.
But I don't have to believe in that for it to be fact.
True, you're right. Yeah,
Right?
you don't have
If
to.
if that is in theory a fact that God is intervening and playing us like a fucking video game,
yeah,
I don't have to believe it for it to be true.
No,
Just
God's
trust.
just playing the pinball machine. It's fine.
that's right.
Bing, 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 bing.
Pinball? Was it pin? No,
What?
it wasn't pinball. Fuck, it's coming out in like 2 weeks.
Arkanoid.
Oh, Dogma.
Yeah.
Oh, skee ball.
Skee ball, that's what it was. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is 2 weeks, eh?
I know.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, you can get tickets?
We can get tickets.
I'm gonna get tickets. I'm gonna order. You doing the Friday, Saturday?
We got to figure it out. I got to figure out a
Yeah.
date. I got to fucking take off.
Okay, because
Well,
I was like, I gotta get tickets before they're full up.
I know.
Fuck.
I'll just go and sick. That.
Sorry,
That'll
totally off topic,
Yeah,
but it
yeah.
just popped in my
I
head.
know. We got to go see it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going.
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
it.
And I'm
Okay.
bringing a butt pillow.
Sure.
The seats are not comfortable.
They are not comfortable. I will agree.
I'm gonna get up. Make sure we're sitting on the edge seat so I can get up. And,
Isn't
like,
it
stretch my
funny?
legs.
That was just how we sat in seats. That was it.
Oh, I know. That's what I
Back
love
in
about
the
them
day-
now.
old
Yeah,
time-
yeah.
olden times.
Back
yeah.
in the old days, it'd
No
be
cup
fine.
holders.
It's funny
you had to
too,
put
'cause,
everything
like,
between your feet.
You
Yeah.
know, some people like hold on to really old shit, and you wonder like where the connection point is. Like, I'm not
Memories.
gonna. Yeah, I guess so. But like, I know this one family. I'm not gonna mention the name. Give
Do
them
it.
the clout. No,
Do
but they had like this old like Victorian style furniture going on in their place. And it was like couches and chairs. It was all fucking uncomfortable as shit. Like it was just uncomfortable. But they specifically wanted that in their modern home.
Yeah, I don't.
And that's where like people sit to hang out.
Yeah.
Oh, see now,
like-
yeah, I don't get. I would understand it more if it was like one of those grandma rooms.
Sure.
It's
don't
like,
go
oh,
into.
Yeah.
you can't go into the fancy
Yeah,
living room,
yeah,
but
yeah.
there's a den or
Yeah.
another living room on
Yeah.
like
Right.
a sub level or something that
Yeah,
you could
I get
go and
that.
sit
Yep.
comfortably in.
You want to have like a nice aesthetic looking room? Sure.
You want to
Yeah.
know something dumb? In my garage, I have a kitchen chair that has shreds left of what it once was.
Uh-huh.
That has been in my life for, God, 30-ish years. I have it still. Why? Because it's my memory. When I die, it'll properly go to the garbage. The only reason I keep it is because it's for some stupid reason in my brain. I love that stupid chair. I literally, if I'm having a
all
rough day, I'll go sit on the fucking
Yeah,
chair.
No,
my
these
mom
are-
has a
these are
chair
all
like
things.
that
Yeah.
because she's short, and it's the only like kitchen table chair she's ever found where her feet aren't dangling,
Mm, nice.
Mm.
and it's been through the fucking ringer.
Oh,
And
yeah.
You just have these
I'll probably
comforts.
take it and
Yeah.
not get rid of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and, yeah. In this case, like again, it's not for zero purpose. I'll bring you a picture. That way, you guys can see how the wonderfulness of this is.
No, I think there's something nice about that. There's some kind of grounding comfort
Yeah,
in it.
there's
Yeah.
just something.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You know.
It's the only thing I think I have of
Yeah.
that length and whatever
Yeah.
age,
Yeah,
and it's a chair, a kitchen chair.
That's really that.
I do that with pillows.
Oh, I mean, you know what? Like,
Mm.
it seems silly. Talk about the pillows because I used to do that with pillows.
Well, like not even necessarily bedtime pillows. I have a pillow because I have like lower back issues.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So I have a pillow on my chair that I have like I stuff
Yeah.
in between me and the arm, and I'll like lean on it and stuff. Yeah, I just replaced one that was like 10 years old or something.
Yeah.
Man, shed a tear.
because it's like
Cry.
it's almost like old man teddy bear.
Yeah.
Like, put my pillow. No, I didn't
Yeah.
cry because I got a nice new
Nice.
Okay.
one.
Could cry, so you miss it. No biggie.
I still haven't got rid of it. It's
Ah,
like,
that's why it's
it's like in the corner in the bathroom.
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah.
It's like, I'm coming back for you, baby.
Nikki took it away from me, but
I
she
love
still
it.
hasn't gotten
I
away
love
with it.
It's
It was
easy-
pretty fucking
it's,
gross.
Well, to be fair though,
It was
it's
pretty
easy
gross.
for pillows. It's just like fucking. Oh shit! It's been 10 years.
See now when it comes to sleeping pillows, that's harder for me because I have to get the proper sleeping pillow. Right?
I just steal my wife's.
There you go. I've got a pretty good system going on. I can't complain about that. No, I was gonna say the only thing that I could think of that I've had for like that long or longer, and it does bring me a lot of comfort and joy, would be that '92 Kenner Batmobile.
but it's
Oh,
not real.
nice.
No, it's not real, but you know, what I mean, but just looking at it, just
Yeah.
it gives me a lot of like,
Just the memories,
Looking
the
at the
thoughts.
ones,
Yeah,
looking at
yeah.
the ones and zeros.
yeah, exactly, just the ones and zeros. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel about my ones and zeros.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything as old as that chair,
can't think of. anything
which is the
else.
dumbest thing. I'll take a picture because when you see this thing, you just be aghast that I actually still sit in it sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's just for me.
It's cool to have the little things.
Yeah, but and it sits in the
unless
garage.
it's like, unless your thing is I gotta fill my house up with cat poop because it's the only way I feel normal. Then it's like, okay, well,
it's your house. Fuck. As long as you own it. If you're renting it, no.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and don't invite people over.
Yeah.
That's just rude.
Yeah.
Unless you're having a cat poop party.
Yeah.
Then invite
Oh,
people
unless the
over.
other
That's
person's
cool.
down with cat's cat too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Then you
Because
can
it
do
is something I
Like,
think
hey, what? You got a cat? He poops?
Yeah,
Come over.
poops all over your
Come
house.
over,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure. Bring some poop.
I've heard stories about mice and mice poop in households, and yeah,
Yo.
you remember that one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay.
Fuck.
Mind you, we did horrible, awful things, but that's okay.
I don't know
The
about
vacuum and
this.
mice.
Ooh.
Yeah. There were so many we had. I shouldn't say we had to, but we did use a vacuum because there were so many.
You know,
fucking
one
mice.
time.
I've decided that everything that comes out of his face is invalid until he has hair on it.
You can't. Okay.
Now that I know this and I have this wonderful power, I shall
What power? It's invalid.
invalid. for
Invalid.
you. Invalid.
It's invalid.
Invalid.
my god.
Okay.
I can't take you seriously.
What? Because I'm all fresh
I
and
just
clean
like-
looking?
I just like busting his balls.
Is there a
probably look better
podcast
than his
simulation? Because I feel like this happened before. I feel like this is so
Like a year ago? It's
Probably.
probably happened about 9 months
It's
ago.
one of those jokes that, you know, I've been told it's always so nice that you actually, you know, you do different things with your hair and your
I'm
face,
like, I
David.
never.
I'm like, no, I have a cycle, dude. Like in the summer, nothing.
yeah.
Autumn.
Fucking
It was like Josh because he saw Airfinger for the first time the other day.
Oh,
right?
yeah?
and he thought it was fucking hilarious. But he was like, Dave with a mullet. I'm like, kind of always has a mullet.
Yeah,
He's
I have a
really
little one now.
he's
Yeah.
working it. It's like, okay, well, that,
Mind you-
Yeah, now it would be kind of weird
yeah.
because I don't remember the last time Dave didn't have a mullet. I think it was like
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah, I pretty much, I did a little bit where I cut it because I was going to a wedding. Yeah. But other than that, yeah. Though I will admit, right now I'm having this fun little moment in my life where I feel like there's too much in the back. It feels too heavy in the back.
Too much party.
Yeah, too much party in the back. I need to tone it down.
You know what's
a bit.
happening? Somebody's trying to steer us off our conversation.
You guys brought up my mullet, so I'm
I'm just
about
talking
Why
about in
do
general.
I feel this need to want to talk about a
In
new
g-
ad product that I haven't felt the need to talk
There's no
about?
ad
Stop.
Google Pixel 9.
We're just talking
I'm
about
just
how
going to have
amazing.
a sip of this delicious Canada Dry made from real ginger. It is the champagne of sodas.
And I'm going to be drinking this. Insert your drink here. Maximum effect.
Insert dank here.
And wow, how refreshing is it?
You know, it's funny. We make this joke about insert here, but it's again the hockey, the boards. When we're watching the live hockey, I still love that it's all now digital. I love it when you watch a hockey game on the telly.
The concept still eludes me as to how it's one thing if you're there live, but it's something different if you're watching it at home, and it's not like some sort of green screen.
Nope. They do a really good job on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume it's some sort of like reflective material that they're scanning.
There's something.
Is that some the digital source off of?
Yeah.
Like that smartboard material or some bullshit.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And underneath is probably just a rotating board of ads that they got going on.
Oh yeah, or not even rotating,
Or just solid ads,
whatever they got
exactly.
there.
Yeah.
But either way,
for the space.
when it first started, it was kind of rough, but I have to give credit now. I have to admit, I don't notice it. The only reason I know it's digital is because some of the ads there are insane.
Yeah. It's no different than in the football when they do the whole.
It's no different.
There's 0 to 10. You know, it's not really. They're not actually.
Oh yeah, similar.
Oh, when they put the line
Yeah,
thing there.
Yeah.
That's true too.
Yeah.
No different.
Funny, whenever I see old highlights from any of the sports, even back to like 80s, 90s, which isn't, which I guess is still 20 years ago, David.
Fuck off.
Actually, it's more
Longer.
Than 90s is
Yeah,
like 30,
dude.
isn't it?
Oh, fuck off.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, dude.
Right. Fuck. That's why you have to be quiet. Okay, I'm sorry.
You're gonna hold us out of here.
You're gonna hold us.
You're gonna hold us out of here.
Fuck
You're
it,
gonna have
it's
to go to
30
my truck and get my walker.
95 was 30 years ago.
Yeah, fucker.
Yep.
Oh, Dave.
You know what we're seeing, right? We're seeing in real time. Dave realized that he's old.
Yeah. This is the whole time he thought he was a young guy.
I mean,
I
I
don't know-
understood the concept, but
I
I
don't
don't
know-
think he'd wrestled
I
with
don't-
and
My
accepted
thing-
it yet.
My concern is I don't know if he's happy or sad about it because like now maybe he can feel like he can finally be him. You know?
I can always be me.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I've been the old grumpy old man since I was 10 years old.
I was gonna say I know lots of people who dressed not their age when they
That's
were
true.
16, man.
Yeah. David's cardigans, and suede jackets.
Yeah. No, I never clicked that way.
Yeah. Speaking of simulation theory, there's no way that suede jacket was part of a simulation. That was fucked up.
Oh, that was fun. Back in those days.
If it's fucked up, it's part of a simulation.
Yeah.
That's true.
Damn cat. If it hadn't pissed on it, I'd still be wearing that jacket. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Got a cat.
Anyway.
Well, let's wrap this up.
I think
We
so.
should probably wrap this up.
I'm going to go extend my simulation.
Since the purveyor of the simulation seems to keep derailing us, and he doesn't want us to talk about the simulation anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's trying to
That's
stop
why we
us.
keep getting distracted.
Do you think this episode will never get uploaded no matter how hard we try?
Yeah, but that's a whole other.
That's a whole
that's
other
a,
thing.
That'd be
that's a
like
whole
the
Donald
week we
Trump
miss.
thing.
Donald Trump. Wow.
Holy shit.
Way to
Give
jump
him a
over
lot
there.
of power.
Speaking of random weird shit, so South Park is now going to be on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
They are banning specific episodes.
Yeah.
This is a common thing that's this, to be honest, should be a whole other podcast that part of me doesn't think we should ban. It's just simply
Agreed.
alert the viewer that, hey,
Yeah.
we're very, very bad in this one.
I agree, especially a show of that like caliber of insult. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's interesting. You want to ban episodes.
Yeah.
Like, what are you trying to?
Yeah, even
That's
your
a-
Dying show, didn't they give up a whole bunch of episodes or a couple of episodes out of it?
Dying show.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
You know, the show where people die.
No, Dying. The diner. There's the bar. The two guys, the girl, the father, who's a famous actor.
Oh, It's Always Sunny.
There you go.
Oh
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, they actually dumped.
Blackface.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
one. That's
yeah.
it.
They
got
cut
three-
that out of The Office, dude, on
Yeah.
Netflix. They
Yeah.
cut
Which is
blackface
like,
out of The Office.
which makes no sense because the whole point of the fucking doing blackface is they're so stupid to do blackface. Like they're
Same
the
with The
idiots.
Office.
Right?
That was the whole point of that
That's the
Office
point, like-
episode because everybody's like, no, that's a bad idea.
And then the fact,
Yeah.
like, oh my god, it's
But that's
so
what I mean.
dumb.
It's just I don't mind necessarily putting an alert up. Hey, there's
Yeah.
really stupid things in this.
Yeah,
that's fine.
But you like also should know like what you're watching.
Well, that's just it.
Fucking
That's
four
also-
idiots.
yeah,
You know what I
exactly,
mean?
exactly.
Like,
That is a
Right.
totally other podcast.
That is,
Yeah,
that's
They do
sorry.
that at the beginning of some Rick and Morty episodes. They'll be like, "This episode deals with suicide." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
yeah, you get a little bit of that more these days.
I don't mind that.
It's
Like,
interesting for animated stuff that you get it.
Fucking Disney does it, and they don't even
Yeah, I
fucking.
know.
They have no fucking qualms about. They're
No
just like,
smoking.
this got smoking and racism and
Yep.
But it's just
bestiality,
weird for animation.
and sodomy.
Like, the whole
Enjoy.
reason why like South Park worked, and I would say any of those fucking shows worked, was because of the fact that it was animated, right? Like they felt, oh, well, you obviously know the difference between reality and fantasy because it's animated. It's clearly not
Right.
real.
Yeah.
But now we're at a point where it's
I don't know,
becoming
dude.
to this point where it's like, well, we better let people know.
I think you should let
You know,
people
when
know.
that happened? You know when that started? Beavis and Butthead.
yeah.
It started with I was watching it was like a 9-minute video or something about Mike Judge and the
Sure.
invention of Beavis and Butthead and all that shit, right?
Yeah, because
And yeah, it had to do with the fact that some kid set his fucking house on fire
Hmm.
and killed his baby sister because he'd watched Beavis and Butthead and they said fire was cool. That's when this whole like putting shit at the beginning of cartoons specifically
Yeah.
became a
And the
thing.
TV thing where your parents, they had that whole TV thing for a bit where they could lock your television based
Oh,
on
the V chip.
Yeah, that whole
You can
stuff.
still do that.
Can you? I thought it was
it's
gone.
because it's all digital.
Well, no,
now,
it's just
man.
the internet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can put a parental lock on Netflix.
Puts a parental
Well,
lock
on Netflix,
himself.
yeah, but
right?
not on the television itself. It's more
Nikki
what I
puts one on Pornhub. It's
meant. just
same
for
thing.
you.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's wrap this up, shall
Yeah.
Yeah, based on Pornhub.
Wait,
Last words.
That's right, last words, yeah.
Pornhub.
And you out there, what are your thoughts of simulation theory?
You want to know my thoughts?
That's AJ's thoughts for everything.
Yeah.
We want to hear from you. We want to know what you think about it. Do you think we're living in a simulation? Do you think we're not? What do you think of our topic of conversation? Let's keep the conversation going. Anywhere, wherever you find us, in the comment section, wherever you're listening to us, in our Discord server, wherever you find sarcastic distractions, we want to keep this conversation going. So let's please do that whenever you feel like doing that.
Unless you find us in a bathroom stall throwing up, just leave us alone.
You know, you can come talk to me. It's
If I'm
cool.
pooping, you can come in.
Even that
With
too.
pooping,
yep,
yes.
I'm down.
Pooping, yes.
Yep. I mean,
Unless
if
I'm
throwing up-
wiping.
If I'm throwing up, that's fine. I
Yeah,
do
that'd be a little
autographs.
weird.
Okay,
Yeah.
whatever. If you want to support us, you can do so by supporting us through saving 10% on beef jerky by smoking gun beef jerky link in our link. And you can support us directly through our Buy Me a Coffee link, so that way we can pay for some bubblies and keep the lights going and all that good stuff. If you're not feeling well in the mental department because you think too much about simulation theory, or for whatever reason, what's going on, we want you to know that you matter, not just to us, but to those
The
around you.
operator won't let
So
you.
if you need to discuss the things that are going on inside your head with those that are that you don't have anybody around you, that's when, like I said, you can seek out the help that you might need. What did you want to say, AJ?
I don't know, but you're talking really fast.
Okay. What do you want to say?
Slow down.
Okay. You good?
No.
Okay.
No.
But until next time,
Slow down.
I've been Harvey.
I'm to Dave.
Hey, what do you call a deaf gynecologist?
Bob.
Lip reader.
There you go. And that was AJ. Just like that, you got yourself sarcastically distracted. Thanks so much for hanging out in the front program.
Take care, all.
Bye now.